Hi there, guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. My name's Chris Coney. I'm the host of the Cryptoverse and the founder of cryptoversity.com, which is the online school where you set the price to learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. You can find out more about the Cryptoverse at cryptoversity.com/podcast, where you can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Store, YouTube, and Steemit. If you'd like to support the Cryptoverse, you can click on the Steemit logo on that page and upvote this post on Steemit, or you can donate some Bitcoin by going to the bottom of that page and finding the Bitcoin address. Let's take a look at the markets this morning. Now, the article I've got coming up for you later on, well, in a few minutes, is about Ethereum, and I hope you'll be very interested in this. Actually, there's an indication appeared here that I'm going to have to explain to give you a little taste of it. So Bitcoin nice and steady today, up 0.2%. Yesterday was a Sunday, so I always say that I always say this and then go back on it. Because it's a weekend, you tend to expect less trading volume, but that is a bad mental habit that I have inherited from Forex trading, which I need to get rid of in the crypto space because this doesn't apply in the same way. Everything looks pretty stable today. Steam down 0.75% is fine. It's still overall market cap of $330 million. Overall market cap of the entire Cryptoverse is down a little bit. But then you see this coin in position 8, which has never been seen before. It's called Ethereum Classic. And then there's Ethereum in the second position as the second most capitalized coin. And then there's this other one, Ethereum Classic, which is the 8th most capitalized coin. So Ethereum, the coin that we already know, is 1.1 billion market cap, right? And Ethereum token is worth $13.56. And this Ethereum Classic token has $53.5 million worth of market cap, and those tokens are worth 65 cents each. Now, I think I'm going to probably finish the market roundup there because this is the thing we need to focus on because this is big news. And that is the article I've selected today. Courtesy of Bitcoin.com, we have an article that's entitled Ethereum Hard Fork Gives Birth to a New Classic Coin. Now, when I first woke up this morning and I checked my CoinDesk app, this was the article that I read on CoinDesk. And then I thought, I'm definitely going to use that for the Cryptoverse today. And then I saw Bitcoin.com have done their version of it as well. So this article's been written by Jamie Redmond, so thank him for that. So let's get into it, see what we've got. The Ethereum community had a hard fork this past week, and many people celebrated a successful implementation. However, not everyone was enthusiastic about the fork, as it only received 85% of the network's hashing power. Well, that's enough, isn't it? 85%, that seems quite a lot to me. 85% of its hashing power. The Ethereum blockchain is split into two, and the minority has been mining and now trading via Poloniex, a new token supply called Ethereum Classic. Well, what normally happens in a hard fork is that the vote is by the miners, right? So, you're mining away, building one block on top of the other, and as long as everyone's building one block on top of the other along the same chain, there's no problem, right? Now, when you have a hard fork, it's literally where, imagine a train track, where they crank the handle and the tracks switch to the right. That is exactly what a hard fork looks like if you could visualize it. But then, the train, if you like, the blockchain has to decide whether to take the track on the right or the track on the left. And that's a decision that miners have to make. Do they point their hashing power at the diversion, i.e. the new hard fork, or do they continue mining in the same direction? And what this is saying is that 85% of the hashing power, the miners, decided to take the hard fork, but 15% of them did not. They've continued to barrel straight ahead. Now, normally what happens is that the smaller chain becomes irrelevant and unprofitable and pointless. And then those miners eventually see that there's a dominant chain and they give up and they just join the majority. That doesn't seem to have happened in this case. That 15% who didn't switch, they seem to be stubborn and they're like, no, we hard and fast disagree with the hard fork and we're going to prove it by continuing to mine on the original chain, which is unprecedented and fascinating to me. So Ethereum Classic emerges. In the wee hours of the 23rd of July, the cryptocurrency exchange Poloniex introduced a new token its markets have dubbed Ethereum Classic. This has caused a heated debate throughout the Ethereum community just days after the celebration of the Ethereum Foundation members and members of Slockit development team implementing the hard fork, right? Now, what's confusing about the name Ethereum Classic is that in the Bitcoin world, we have Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Classic, but they are not exactly alternative chains. They are just alternative clients that are proposing a hard fork, if you know what I mean. And when they get enough of a population, then it would switch. However, that doesn't mean to say that this couldn't happen to Bitcoin. It absolutely could. So let's read on. Stephen Toll is a tweet by him that's embedded into the article here from 5 days ago, the 20th of July. And it says, #Ethereum fork. Exchanges are starting to reopen Ether. Now, I've got to be clear about this. ETH withdrawals and deposits. Looks like Poloniex is leading the way. #blockchain. Ethereum Classic, otherwise known as, here we go, ETC. Now, this is key. The original Ethereum coin, Ether, which is ETH, that's the symbol for it, that's now referring to the hard forked version of the blockchain. And the original chain is now called Ethereum Classic. ETC is the symbol, which is incredibly confusing because the symbol ETH, which is the one everyone has been using, that's the old name, but it's referring to the new chain. And the original chain, which is now being called Ethereum Classic, the unchanged version of the blockchain, and those coins are being referred to as ETC, Ethereum Classics, right? Complete mind screw. So Ethereum Classic, otherwise known as ETC, has a lot of volume at Poloniex, right? So check this out. The Ethereum in both versions, the classic version and the new version, are being traded separately as if they're separate currencies. This is incredible. So currently the exchange is reporting over 18,000 Bitcoin in ETC trading, with the troll box going wild. I'm not bloody surprised. I'm going wild just reading about it. So people initially thought that ETC, Ethereum Classic, was just an exercise in trolling as well, but the project has gained significant traction over the past couple of days. Miners have joined the Classic pools, social media pages have been created, and somehow it managed to find its way into the trading markets. Now that's the critical thing. The exchanges have decided to allow both coins to be traded. This is unbelievable. It's brilliant because these are the kinds of experiments we need to do, right? We don't want we want to kind of set precedents. We want to be able to have got to a point where we've seen it, heard it, spent it, right? We've been through the experiment and we know what worked, what didn't work, and so on. This is really good stuff. Currently, Ethereum Classic value has been volatile, but it's the sixth most valued coin so far according to CoinMarketCap. Well, not anymore. It's the eighth most according to right now as I'm recording this. So one Ethereum Classic's fiat value is close to $1 at the time of writing. Well, that's now gone down to what? 65 cents. Yeah, 65 cents at the time that I'm speaking to you here. And then the article goes on spotty support. Of course, this event has caused quite a stir within the Ethereum community as celebrations have ceased and the value per Ether fell 11% on July the 24th. The Chinese miner, Chandler Gao, has shown his dislike for Ethereum Classic and the Ethereum Classic chain, and he tried to initiate a minor movement to do a 51% attack of the next network's hash rate. Very interesting. So that means that it's going to get confusing. The majority chain, the one that switched to the hard fork, this guy was going to encourage those guys, the majority of the miners, to do a 51% attack and take out the Ethereum Classic alternative blockchain. And then it goes on to say, his threats have not received much support yet, while others have even said that he's helping attract more attention to ETC. Oh yeah, so he's helping attract more attention to the fact that Ethereum Classic exists. So I don't think most people would know about it, right? Additionally, some have questioned Gao's claims of 98G of the network's hash rate. Oh, that's 98 gigahashes, I assume. And then as proof of this, there's a tweet inset as per usual, and this is at Chandler Gao, Chandler Guo, and this was 24th of July, as it reports, 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and it says, "I am Chandler Gao. A 51% attack on Ethereum Classic is coming with my 98G hash rate." Now, I'll tell you something I noticed in the CoinDesk article on this was that he said something like, he was quoted as, saying something like, taking a leaf out of Google's book and do no evil was what he quoted. And he was saying that's why Ethereum Classic must die, which to me was a massive hypocrisy, because using your hashing power to attack someone else's coin, I would consider that in the category of evil. Even the word attack, right, is an evil word, so don't give me that, mate. Anyway, despite the Ethereum Classic haters, others seem to be supportive of its emergence. Ethereum developer Gavin Wood announced via Twitter that a parity client is being developed for Ethereum Classic holders. Wood has been vocal about the DAO situation, which has caused this whole mess, and which may create more support for the minority chain. Of course, both Wood and Gao's tweets may be meaningless and possibly meant just to stir the pot, but it seems to be working, as many Ethereum supporters are quite upset. I imagine so. You've got a divide. This is, I'm not going to go too extreme with this, but a civil war of words, not of fists. A civil war within the Ethereum blockchain itself, which is absolutely unbelievable. Now, don't you remember? I think it was literally the last episode of the Cryptoverse when I talked about the Ethereum hard fork, and I discovered that a lot of the Ethereum Foundation members and some of the developers of Ethereum, they were on the side of the hard fork to fix the DAO problem. And then as soon as that happened, they started withdrawing their ether from the DAO, right? And I declared in that episode my stance on it pretty firmly, which was the hard fork should not have happened, which means I'm siding with the Ethereum Classic folk. So that's the minority, but on principle, I'm obviously not the only one who feels this way. Now, I'm not, full disclosure, I'm not involved in Ethereum mining. I'm not involved in any exchanges. I don't actually own any Ethereum right now, so I have no actual vested interest in it either way. As a commentator who doesn't own any Ethereum Classic or any Ethereum of any kind, I can sort of be as objective and just call it without any emotional attachment. So meanwhile, Ethereum Classic supporters or anti-hard fork proponents congratulated Wood for making the parity client. Some have said, let the free market decide, and former co-founder of Ethereum, Charles Hodgkinson, said, "Thanks, Gavin." And then Gavin Wood's tweet is there from the 24th saying, upcoming #parity #Ethereum Classic client. The fork drama continues. It's going to take some significant effort for the Ethereum Classic chain to keep up its pace, as many believe it will lack certain features. For instance, it doesn't have a development team with programmers like Vitalik Buterin behind it. Though, considering the surprising tweet coming from Gavin Wood, this could change. Poloniex has received criticism for causing a ruckus within the community, so it'll be interesting to see if other exchanges follow suit. Just a comment on that. Poloniex is not causing a ruckus. They are doing what they're supposed to do, which is, as a service provider, they are providing service. And they provide services for which there is demand. So clearly, if 18,000 Ethereum Classic tokens have been traded, then Poloniex is doing exactly the right thing, and they are providing a facility to allow those people to trade, right? Now, if Poloniex said, no, we're not supporting the Bitcoin Classic coin, then that is meddling in the politics of it, if you know what I mean. They're basically taking a stance to say, we're with the hard fork, whereas they're not taking a stance either way. They are facilitating both parties, right? And that is exactly what they're supposed to do, because at the end of the day, they're in business to make a profit, and all they have to do is serve needs of the market. If there's need for an exchange that supports Ethereum Classic, then god damn it, they should be allowed to do that, right? I'm not afraid of that, man, I'm just saying. In any case, Ethereum Classic is a token that has birthed out of the madness of the DAO situation, and it appears many are cheering for its existence. What do you think of the Ethereum Classic movement? Let us know in the comments below. And then we've got a few comments. Someone says, where do I buy Ethereum Classic except for Poloniex? And then someone says, BitSquare is more safe and more anonymous to trade. And then another guy says, Ethereum Classic is actually the same chain, not a new token or new coin. It's the original, it wasn't created. Very good point. I think I just mentioned something similar. It's confusing that the new symbol, that's probably going to get confused as the new chain, because new symbol, you assume is a new coin, new chain, right? Whereas that's actually the original chain, pre-hard fork. And this comment goes on, that's why hard forks should be avoided unless absolutely necessary. The classic coin also doesn't need devs since Ethereum is open source. They can just clone any improvements added to ETC They can just clone any improvements to the Ether to Ethereum Classic. So he says ETH to ETC, but that was too confusing to say. It's a very good point, isn't it? That is a very good point. I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe that's how the Bitcoin clients work. So you've got Ethereum Classic and not Ethereum Classic. I've said Ethereum that many times today. It's brainwashed me. So you've got Bitcoin Classic, you've got Bitcoin Unlimited, Bitcoin Core, all that lot. And the alternative ones like Classic and Unlimited and so on, again, they don't need developers necessarily. They can just take the code from GitHub and integrate it as they go. And the only difference then between, say, Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Classic is the block size or whatever minor tweaks they want to implement, right? So you would think that, oh my God, what happened if we snapped to a Bitcoin Classic chain? Would that mean that we would be stepping back in terms of development? No, absolutely not. For the reason that this fellow, Gets Liquid, he's called, points out, which is a brilliant, brilliant comment. And I'm glad he's mentioned it, because then I've been able to bring that awareness to you guys. Alrighty then, that's going to do it for this edition of the Cryptoverse with me, Chris Coney. I'd like to thank you for listening today. Check out the Cryptoverse and subscribe if you would be so kind on cryptoversity.com/podcast. Please go to that page, click on the Steam It link and upvote this episode on Steam. Also, subscribe on YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher and iTunes. And if you're most generous, you can donate some Bitcoin to the address at the bottom of that page. Also, remember to check out not Bitcoin. You see, I'm mixing all my words up today. Cryptoversity.com. Please check out the main site, cryptoversity.com, which is the online school where you set the price to learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. And you'll be excited, maybe enthused to know that we have a new patron. On Friday, we have a new patron joined. And if you want to know what a patron is, just go to the enroll page on cryptoversity.com. And it's basically where someone pledges to support Cryptoversity on a regular basis through a financial contribution, but also agrees not to expect to be able to influence us in any way, shape, or form, because we have a mission. We're going to accomplish it. If you're on board with it, support us. If you don't. But Cryptoversity, it's not for sale. The mission's not for sale, and we will not be bought out. So anyone who joins as a patron has to agree to those terms, and this fine fellow Pablo has agreed to those terms and has agreed to fund Cryptoversity. So that means we can expand the reach, bring freedom and prosperity to more people through cryptocurrencies. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until tomorrow, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.